Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ellie now. I know I sound like a captain tonight. In, like a captain that's talking on the plane. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain. Okay, but today this is Ellie Naum, and you're welcome to the final session of the What is Wrong series in Operations Management with Ed Cyprian. We will be going through the summary of the conversation today. If you haven't been with us over the last 1 month, we've had discussions with Ed in topics relating to business operations management. We started with the introduction expert series where we discussed what is wrong with operations management in Africa and tried to pull out some of the problems that are prevalent in operations management in Africa. And from that session, the summary takeaway was that we should focus on what we want our output to be, and it will direct us to ensure that we have the right results in the end. And then from there, we moved on to the question and answer with Ed Cyprian, and there were so many fantastic questions. Thank you guys, especially the online guests who sent questions to us via DMs and under posts. That really helped us break into different of the economy and industry on different problems in operations management in different sectors of the economy. Today, Ed will be joining us to give us his summary on what we've gone through the discussion and the key takeaways for entrepreneurs and business owners, managers, people who want to become entrepreneurs on operations management and how to excel at operations management. It's going to be a fantastic session today. And I know that you're going to get great things once the session is done. In the meantime, please, if you have any, as we always say, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box or raise your hand and we will ask you. If you have a question during his speech, during when he's talking, please raise your hand and he will see it and he will invite you to ask him the question. Ed has asked for a few minutes to set up his presentation for tonight, so we're going to give him a few minutes. In the meantime, if you have any questions for us PBI, please drop it in the comment section or your hand. Again, if you are hearing me clearly, please let me know in the comment section. If you're not hearing me clearly, please let me know in the comment section and the chat box. So please, if you can hear me, can I get a wave from anybody to make sure that I'm not speaking to the wind? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, Richmond, thank you. You can hear me. That was great. So now to continue, every time we have this section, I like to, for the past, PBI is a non-governmental organization. We're an NGO. We are interested in improving the future of Africa. And we believe that the people of Africa are the key to improving the future of Africa. And this is why we are focused on building the capacity of the African person by introducing them to the ideas that are necessary for them to create industry, create economic opportunity, and harness those economic opportunities for wealth creation. We're very interested in the power that the African has to change the landscape of Africa. And so that's why we are called the People Building Institute. People are building real estate, people are building businesses. We are building the people economy. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, and we are on LinkedIn. So make sure you're following us on all these platforms and you will get all the updates and tidbits. If you have missed any of our sessions, they are on our Instagram page most especially, and also on our Facebook page. If you want to partner with us or collaborate us to have a talk at your institution, or to have a collaboration in terms of organizing a conference, or you want to sponsor us so that we can find more speakers and organize more programs to build Africa, please do contact us at www.pglobal.com, or you can go to our Instagram page. Okay, so I've done all my and Ed is almost joining us. He's almost here. In the meantime, I want to shout out to all the fantastic people that have been following us along this journey. Most especially, I am Jedediah, who's been with us from day one, from our first expert conversation we had last year with the agricultural consultant. Thank you so much, Jedediah. And then to Richmond, who has been so very active on our Instagram page. Richmond, thank you so much for all the engagement on the page. We really, really appreciate you. Lovetta, hi Lovetta, nice to have you on the call today. ACJ, nice to have you on the call today. And Anna Starberg, thanks. Anna Starberg, thank you for joining us on the call today. If Kofi is here, Kofi, can I ask you a few questions if you're on? Can you unmute yourself so I can ask you a few questions? Hello, Kofi. I know you're busy with all the technical work in the background, making sure we are live. But if you can unmute yourself, I'd like to ask you a few questions. Hi, Kofi. Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, Kofi, could you please give us contact details to PBI for anybody who is interested in partnering with us, inviting us to conferences and the likes?
Oh, okay. So you can email us on info@thepbiglobal.com, or you can also call us on 020. I don't know the number of head. So it's 020-953-5206.
Please, can you repeat it
again? 020-953-5206.
Thank you so much. And you said the email is info@thepbiglobal, right?
pbiglobal.com. Yeah. Or you can email me personally at s.doche@thepbiglobal.com. Or you can also reach e.elinam@pbiglobal.com.
All right. Yeah. So there you have it. We are available to come and speak at your events. We are available to organize events with you. We are available to mentor students and mentor entrepreneurs who are in the field, especially related to agriculture or production, which are our strong suits. So please do not hesitate to contact us. Kofi, and since I have you here, when did the idea for PBI come into the head? Like, what were you doing the moment you were like, let's start an NGO? How did that start?
Okay, well, it came from multiple issues, yeah. And the first was I started a business, I think somewhere after uni. It was a yogurt business, me and a friend of mine. But we're too young and too all over the place that when we get the money, it's just enjoyment. We had no supervision. We had no coaching. No coaching, nothing. It was just, we just spent until the point where there was no money to even get yogurt done. Plus, I mean, we realized that there was a lot of wrongs. So we had to go look for white-collar jobs. We got it, but if business is in you, you are still always looking to go back. So an opportunity presented itself. And I'm like, if I suffered like this, how many more people, are also going through this? So I happened to also have traveled, and I saw how young people in other African countries are doing so well. And to think that they don't really depend on their government, they are not moving about with their CVs looking for jobs, but every conversation is about what we can do, and it's not who can give us a job. Then I thought, you know what? I mean, every good thing starts with a person. So how about we also start to drum this idea into the minds and the heads of our own local people and see how we can, you know, change Africa with our small idea. And the problems in Ghana are the same problems in every other African country. So what we, the youth of Ghana, are suffering is the same thing that the youth in other countries are suffering. So to restrict it to Ghana is not a godly thing. So how about, let's make it a global thing, but the focus is Africa. Let's help the young African who wants to start a business, who has an idea, to be able to move their businesses from an idea to something bigger, because no global business today started being big. It started from being small to where it is today. I'm not sure Microsoft and Apple and every one of those giant companies started big. They started from somewhere. So how about we move our thinking from being small all the time to doing something bigger? So, I mean, PBI is just how I felt after my conversation with people outside of Ghana, and then the struggle I went through as a young man trying to make it in life. And the fact that that struggle is still there with a lot of people today. So yeah, that is how PBI came about. And yeah, you were there with the same dream. So we started. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Can you tell me some of the struggles you've had since you started PBI?
So it's difficult getting people to just come and say, oh, the experienced people in various fields to say, okay, yeah, I'm ready. I want to help you change lives. To just come and give their best without, expecting anything in return. So the moment they ask you, so what is in it for me? And you say, okay, well, I don't have anything for you. It's like, okay, I'll get back to you. And they never get back to you, ever. Ever. So for anyone, ever. So far, whoever you see on a PBI platform is somebody you should really adore, not worship, adore, and pray for, because these are selfless people who wants to give back to society, But for the others, yeah, when they see us getting somewhere, I'm sure they will come. We'll be waiting for them too.
Okay. So for those who are just joining, I'm interviewing one of the founders of PBI because we are waiting for our guest speaker. As usual, he's a businessman, and so therefore, when clients things crop up at the last minute, he has to work on them before he joins the call. So we're giving him a few minutes to sort out those things, but I have seen what he has prepared for us today, and it will be a powerful delivery.
Yes.
So if you can
I've seen it myself too.
It will be amazing. It will be amazing. So for now, I'm going to use Kofi as the
This was never part of the plan, but hey.
My dear, the sacrifices you make for Africa. Thank you so much, Kofi. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
I'm going to go back to your yogurt business.
Okay.
In the business, in the beginning,
yeah,
what was driving you? Was it a revenue or passion?
Okay, so in the beginning, I don't know if it was revenue, and I don't know if it was, I think it was passion, because I had finished national service. I was just home, and I used to help my mom with spring rolls. She was on a secondary school campus and she sells spring rolls, so I used to help her out. And then I'm like, but me, I studied chemistry. I know some yogurt preparation and all of that. How about, in addition to the spring roll, I do some yogurt on the side and see if the students will buy. So I started. And that was how I started. But later after I started, I realized that the school was too small a market for me. So I started going out from office to office. And my first office was one of the branches of Unibank, then Unibank. And I sent it to one person to try. And before the close of day, she calls me back and says that, oh, 3 of my friends wants milk. So can you bring it tomorrow? And I'm like, okay. So I took 5. And when I took the 5, I got people to buy the extra 2. But before I left there that day, I got people to order for, I think, 15 more. So that was how I started going. So instead of bottling and putting on shelves, I was buying gallons and I'll just fill it for people like that. So that's how it started, you know. So yeah, then I got in touch with some lady who produces donuts. So she'll give me donuts, and then I sell the donuts in addition to the yogurt. And at the time, donut and yogurt was like the big thing, you know. So yeah, so that's how I started. So I started moving from company to company, bank to bank, and that's how we kept going.
Wow.
By the way, I did this with a friend of mine. He's called Mark Ampedu. Yeah, he's a big guy now. He's a super big guy now.
Just like yourself.
Well, I don't know about that. Yeah. So that's how we actually started. And I think for the start, it was just passion. But later when the money started coming, I think we were becoming a little complacent and all. So yeah, small boys who didn't know how to manage things like that.
Interesting. How many workers did you have at the peak of your business?
So the workers we had, it was me, my mother, Mark's mother from the start.
Okay, but when the business was at peak, when you had the best, like when you would say you were at your biggest, how many customers did you have?
How many customers?
Sorry, how many workers did you have?
Let's say about 8, 9.
9 workers.
Yeah. But we started with our mothers. They were our biggest promoters.
And we wonder why Mother's Day is bigger than Father's Day. But okay, let's continue.
I'm not sure there's a conversation to have now.
I'm just saying, but okay, let's continue with the interview. The ladies in the chat, if you agree with me,
Ed come and get me out of this situation right now.
In the chat, if you agree, just drop a heart in the chat box. I'm just saying. But Kofi, so after the first big break that you had, which was the Unibank lady talking about her 5 friends, why did you partner with the yogurt lady is what we want to know. Sorry, with the donut lady.
Okay, so we got events, we got gigs. Okay, so somebody's wedding, somebody's party, somebody's whatever. And to just go and serve yogurt was just something else. So we thought adding the yogurt. At the time, KNUST has this famous yogurt joint where they sell the yogurt with donuts. So we thought to also add a bit of donuts to see if it's going to go well. So we started supplying secondary schools and anyone having a party, an event, whatsoever. So it goes with a donut and it's nice. So that's why we decided to add it.
How did you have this conversation with the lady in terms of the partnership? How did the conversation go? Was it a partnership or was she just selling to you and then you were doing your own thing?
So it was a partnership. So what happens is that she produces in large quantities. And she would just give us the yogurt, sell it at a certain price, and then we take our bit of it and then give her. So let's say she's giving it to us for 1 cedi. Say she gives it to us, we sell at 1 cedi and gives her like 70 pesos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. At the end of the week, then we just go and pay her some if we have it all. If not, then we just wait till the end of the month and then we'll pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you were starting, yes, to go back to the beginning, when you were starting the business, what was the agreement between you and Ampedu, your friend Mark? What was the agreement between you? How did the investment go? Was it a 50-50 investment? Was it 70-30? How did it go?
So it was, so we just had this thing, like the business should not suffer. So this is what we decided, that whatever we get, we split into 3. one for me, one for him, and then one for the business. So eventually we'd have to buy milk, would have to buy all the things we needed. We kept buying freezers, you know, and I think Ed is calling. If I can just take his call for a minute.
Oh, no problem.
Yes. So Ed is still caught up in his meeting, and he asked that we give him a little more time.
Yeah. Okay, continue this exciting that we're having.
Okay, so where was I, please? I beg you, remind me.
We're talking about the investment between you and Mark and how you.
So because we are constantly buying milk and flavors and culture and all of those things, so we needed to have money on the side at all times, you know, so that this money is what is going to be feeding the company, so that we constantly have product for producing yogurt. So whatever we get divided into 3, he takes 1, I take 1, and the remaining 1 is kept for the running of the business.
Interesting. So in the beginning, the amount of money that was required to start, where did it come from?
So we just, what happened is we sat down one day and decided on, we thought about the things we needed and what everybody could afford to get. So I think I got a freezer, he got a freezer. So it's just what you can get, you know, not what we can buy. It's like what you can pick from the house. So I took my mother's freezer from home. Mark also took a freezer from his home. And later we contributed money to buy some of the coolers and stuff that we needed, the buckets and the barrels and all the things you use to stir the yogurt and, you know, those things. But it started with what we can get immediately without having to buy, so that the things we had to buy with money is quite, you know, we didn't have to spend so much buying a lot of stuff because at the time we didn't have money.
Okay.
Yeah. Ed is actually put me in a hot seat today. I didn't bargain for this one.
Well, hi.
Oh, geez.
I'm here now. So guys, the reason why you're now seeing me is I've been in traffic driving home because just like Ed is going through, I had a long meeting today and I finished somewhere around 6:39, and so I had to get home. So Kofi, now that you can see my face, you know I'm going to ask you even more questions now that you can see my face. Why are you running away? We like seeing your smile. Please come back. Oh. Please come back. Today it's you. You're in the hot seat. Okay, we have to entertain our guests. There's 9 solid people on this call that are waiting for Ed, and in the meantime that we're waiting for Ed, we will use you as the commercial break. So guys, just in case you're joining now, we're still on the final session of the operations management, and we're waiting for our guest speaker who is caught up in a meeting. But in the meantime, we're going through the real life operations of a real life business that has happened with one of our mentors. So, Kofi, now that I've talked about the beginning of the business, I've talked about the middle of the business. Can you tell me about what made your customer service different from others? Because I do believe that there was yogurt in the market at the time that you started yogurt. What made you different?
So for me, I'm naturally okay. So one, Mark was at the time a sales executive for Love FM.
Okay.
So he was already into the act of convincing people to buy stuff. And I naturally have this thing of being able to speak to people to get them to do things for me sometimes.
I agree.
So yeah, we just put that together. You meet a friend, you know, using our friends and the little, you know, to just get people. Some people call it flirting, but it's not. Sometimes in sales, it helps. So that's how we started, because he was from the sales background. It was easier for us to just get ourselves to just move from place to place, and we knew how to talk to the people to get them to take our product. So yeah.
Okay.
was going to schools to get them to take our product. You get it? So I remember we went to a school and then we had to meet the headmaster and the matron and about 12 people, just the two of us, just tell them why they should take ours. And before we left, they had agreed to take it. So every week, I mean, it was like every day we had to send yogurt. But later, it got to the point where we just put a freezer in every school. We put a freezer in the school. Then we have a barrel in the freezer. And then every now and then we supply the yogurt like that. So
good that you just mentioned that.
We want things being mixed up in other people's fridges. So we sent our own fridge with our own products, so nothing else has to come in, because we believe that yogurt is quite delicate, and if not properly handled, it cause a lot of problems for people.
I am very excited about what you just said about the freezer and the barrel, because there are yogurt companies, even in today's world, who would never think about doing something like that. That's too much investment for them, putting a freezer in somebody's business, even in supermarkets. And I'm mentioning I will mention your name, but you know yourself. You're a very famous yogurt brand, and you will never do this. And I've gone to some supermarkets to buy a yogurt, and they're bad because the supermarket fridge is substandard. But I won't mention your name, so it's okay. But in those days, what made you come up with this fantastic idea to control the quality of the product by controlling delivery method?
Well, like I'm saying, it's like, because of the nature of our product, it was difficult to share fridge with any other, because you see, they are constantly opening it up, right? And they are adding other things into it. So it's easy to contaminate the yogurt. So to prevent that, we had to just get that happening. And mind you, if you constantly have spoilage, okay, you lose market. So to be able to control that, we needed to just find a way to give freezers. And I think to date, we still have freezers with people that we never went back for. I mean, we were spending the money, extravagantly, but we knew to just buy the things we needed for the business to run. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Kofi, don't worry. You'll be fine. I
brought myself.
And I know that you're no longer operating the business, but during the time that the business was running, how many years was the business? Did the business last for?
How many years? 4?
4 years.
Yeah, I think.
When did the decline start? At which year did the decline start?
So a time came when we were selling less and less. So if initially we were producing, at our peak, we were producing about 5 barrels, and we're doing a lot of events. You find us going to the stadium with a lot of people, and we are selling stuff, and we are selling. But the time came when I think it gets to a point when people actually withdraws from cold stuff. All right. So at that point, we were not selling much, and almost every time it was going bad. So you're asked to come for your product. It's going bad, please come for it. So we kept going for, bad yogurt for so long that it just little by little took us out of the market. We kind of like got disinterested, and like I'm saying, we had no guidance, and we even though our parents were helping, at this point we had gotten somewhere, so we didn't need their help no more. So we're just like our own bosses. They would tell us, but we choose whether to take it or not to take it.
Okay, which year was this? Year 3, year 4, year 2? Which year was this?
Which year was when?
When the decline started, when you had to keep going back for yogurt.
I think that was like the 3rd year. It was just within a 1-year period.
Okay, and so the 3rd year is when this started.
Yeah, and I found myself into another 8 to 5, and that was the end. Yeah.
Okay, so now it was divided attention, and then the customers were returning the product. Okay. Looking back at that particular time, in that 3rd to 4th year, with what you know today, not what you knew then, what you know today, What advice would you have given yourself at that time when the decline started?
When the decline. So you see, we understood what was causing the decline. So what we could have done, considering it's something that perishes, okay, we chose not to add too much preservatives because we wanted you to have it fresh. That was the whole experience. Fresh yogurt. So it was called Frosty Frost. Fresh yogurt. Fresh. Enjoy it fresh. So we didn't want to add preservatives. So buy and consume within a day and two. So when it started, what we could have done was, then now let's start adding preservatives. Let's start shelving it and all of that. So that would have helped so that at the time, so when they get to the point where they now need yogurt, there is yogurt in the shelves for them. But we didn't have that. So we just continued. If it's not working like this, then it's not going to work like that. So let's just take a step back. And that's what happened. We should have, thought about moving the next step higher. We got too comfortable with serving fresh because it's easier to serve fresh. You don't need to worry about getting bottles from China. You don't need to worry about looking for the right kind of bottles and all the FDA, issues. I was going to use a word, but yeah, all the FDA issues where you have to make sure you have this, you have that, and then standards board. So we didn't have that. So serve it fresh and be free. If we had just pushed ourselves a little to just get it on the shelves, I'm sure it would have solved a lot of problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Please, do you have any questions for Kofi on his business? Please drop it in the comment section or in the chat box, or raise your hand and let's hear your voices too. Because sometimes I want to know that I'm not alone over here. Richmond says, it's easier serving fresh and a business nego.
Thank you,
My
Richmond.
international listeners, Richmond says Kofi took the easy way out and the business has collapsed. That is what Richmond is saying. Richmond, we will block you. We will block you. Thank you, Richmond, for that. So I want to ask you for one last question, then I'll leave you alone. I promise I'll leave you alone.
Thank you.
What advice would you give somebody that is starting a similar business as your yoga business today?
What advice? Well, it's just the advice I would give to anybody trying to start a business. Okay, it's tough. You might not have your mother to help you. You might not have somebody to share in your dream. You might not have any of that, what we had. But what I would say is that it's not easy. It is tough. It's sometimes you get so discouraged, but look at the end. Look at the end goal. Look at where you want to get to and just work towards it. Because if you think about your current circumstances, I'm sure you could before you even know. But if you think about where you want to get to, then you work towards the goal. I think that's just the ultimate. Yeah.
Look at where you want to go and don't give up. Thank you very much for that, sir. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mr. Duche. Since Ed is still not here, I'm going to do something. I'm going to give you free recruitment advice, okay? For all the business owners and managers here, some free recruitment advice. Okay. I've been doing recruitment since 2012. I did HR for 6 years, for 2012 to 2018. And I would say I've employed and managed over 1,000 people. I learned something about identifying character in people. And the key thing there is making sure that you are able to put them in a category, because there are different jobs that require different categories. And the classifications that the experts have given, I've forgotten the name of the framework, but the classifications that they gave was the lion, the fox, the cheetah, and the bear. Okay, these are the 4 classifications of people in terms of productivity. Now, a lion is somebody who likes to organize, right? They like to organize. They have to have everything written down, planned out. They know what they're going to do. They know what they're going to do next week, today, right? And if you give them a task, they know all the ways in which to execute that task and which one comes after which. So they're usually the ones that would have a project schedule. Those are your lions. Then your foxes, they're the creative ones. They have a lot of ideas, Like if you ask them a question, they could come up with a million ideas. They are very creative. Then you have your cheaters. These are action people. They speed up into action very quickly. So they're the ones that go, they go. You tell them, I need this done, right? They are the ones that, and then you have the bear people. These are community people. They like community. They like people. They have to have a team. They work in teams. They know how to bring teams together. They are the people in the office that would like to have like birthday celebrations with everybody in the office. They're the ones who want to plan an office trip. They're the ones who want to have like a drink up after work. Those are your bear people. So why am I mentioning this framework here? When you're recruiting somebody, and you're recruiting for a managerial position, for instance, you're recruiting for somebody in finance who is supposed to be able to understand the finances of the business and forecast, you're looking for a lion. You should be looking for a lion. And so therefore, when you're interviewing this person, the questions that you're asking should be skewed towards finding out whether or not they're organized. So you're trying to find out if they're a lion, right? Now, if you're recruiting for a copywriter, like somebody who writes copies, and this is somebody who writes blogs, or somebody who writes articles, or somebody who writes taglines, or somebody who, a creative person, a creative position. You need somebody who can come up with things out of nothing. You're looking for a fox. You need somebody with ideas, because the thing about creativity is the more ideas, the better. If there's a lot of ideas, then you can pick from something. If there's scarcity of ideas and creativity, there's a problem. So when you have a creative position, let's say, for instance, business development person, you are going to need a fox in that team. Now, when you're recruiting for a position that is action-oriented, so this is more the operations front, right? You have an operations unit, maybe you want a floor manager, somebody who's managing the floor. You're looking for a cheetah, somebody who gets into action very, very quickly. And the cheetah, I'm talking about the animal cheetah, not a cheating husband or wife. So the animal cheetah, that's the kind of person you're looking for those action-oriented positions, right? If you're a businessman and you're looking for, you want a PA, you're a business owner, you want a PA, you need a cheetah, because you, the business person, are most likely the one that's going to be the fox or the lion in this situation. So you need somebody with a cheetah mentality to implement your activities. You tell them, I need this done, they need to jump into it. So you need a cheetah for that kind of position. Then finally, when you're looking for somebody that can build culture in an organization, somebody that can influence team culture, somebody who needs to lead a team of people, you're looking for a bear, right? You need to find a bear. If you are looking for a general manager or a managing director or a chief operations officer, you want them to have more of the cheetah. So a chief operations officer, you want them to have more cheetah, but a lot of lion also, right? That's a chief operations officer, because their job is made up of organizing and executing. You plan, you execute. Those are, I'm not raising my hands, okay? Zoom is telling me something. So that position requires somebody who can plan and execute. So you're looking for somebody with lion tendencies and cheetah tendencies, right? But more of the cheetah, because you need your operations manager to execute, and then some lion because you need your operations manager to plan. If you're looking for a general manager for the whole business, and this business is a service business where majority of your employees, majority of the things that you use to make money are employees, people, you want somebody who has a lion mentality with a bear characteristics. Why? Because he or she needs to be able to manage the people that you have in your organization to be able to achieve the plans that the lion has done. Do you get it? Now, if you're recruiting for your finance team, you want somebody who has a lion personality, right? A very lion personality. And if you're a young business and you need to be creative in your financials, right? To be able to make money, come up with ideas on how to save money, come up with ideas on how to do all those things, you need somebody with a lion and a little bit of fox in them, so that even though they can organize, because finance is a lot about organization, they can still be very creative. If you have a business development, if you're looking for business development manager, that's pure fox. So you're going to need that fox person, right? But when you have the fox, you are looking also for that fox to have some of the cheater in him. Because if the business development person comes up with ideas and they don't execute it, your business is going nowhere. So I'll go over it again. You have the lion personality, you have the cheetah personality, you have the fox personality, and you have the bear. The lion is about organization. Why do they do this? Because lions, they hunt in packs. So they have to organize around the desert to make sure that once one person springs into action and the animal runs this way, the other person that's over there can catch up, or the other person over there can catch up. They think about all the ways in which the deer can escape, and they try and position themselves in such a way that the pride can catch the deer in the end. That's the lion, right? The fox is very creative because of the way they hunt, the things they hunt. They have to make sure that they're able to get all those things and make sure that it's done. And then the cheetah, very fast. Very fast. The cheetah doesn't hunt in packs. They hunt alone. They move quickly. The influence of the cheetah is its speed to execute. It sees, it plans, it stalks, and it executes. That's the cheetah. And the bear, obviously. They are loving creatures who fiercely protect their own, very fiercely protect their own, and make sure that they're able to raise cubs for years before they're able to let the cubs go. So this is a tidbit I want to give on HR. If it was useful to you, I am grateful that you listened. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the box. A typical interview question you can ask somebody to find out which of these they are is, if you had to plan your ideal trip, I heard this on Tommy Bilbao's podcast, is that if you had to plan your ideal trip, what would it look like? So if the person starts saying, oh, I need to find out all the flights that are happening and find out the cheapest rates and find out the hotels, that's a lion. They're planning, they're organizing, they're planning, right? If somebody tells you, oh, let me see. Well, I've heard about this place that if you are able to book with your Amex card, you can get a discount on this and you can do that. But then I've heard about this other place, but then I've also heard about this other place. And that's somebody with a lot of ideas, but they're not going anywhere. And that's definitely your fault. A lot of ideas. If you find somebody who says, oh, I'm going to Bali, jumping on a plane and going to Bali. Is there a flight? No. You don't know. Which hotel are you going to stay in? I don't know. I'm just going to Bali. I want to go to Bali. That's a cheetah. They're action-oriented people. You said holiday. They said Bali. They're going. How much is it going to cost? They don't know. They're going. Execute it, right? And then if somebody says, oh, I'll go where my best friend takes me. Or, oh, I'll ask my husband and we'll go together. Or, oh, I'll go with my sister. That's a bear, right? That's a bear. They're family-oriented people. They're culture-oriented people. They are the ones you use to build culture. If you target that bear and, for a lack of a better word, manipulate them in a certain way, they will help you to manipulate the rest of your team into a certain culture. So if you have any questions on this, drop them in your box. You can raise your hand. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. I'll be glad to answer. All this is because we are waiting for Mr. Ed Cyprian, who is still stuck in a client meeting. I do not want to waste your time tonight. So that's why I'm making sure I'm giving you all these tidbits and all these wonderful freebies, because I charge for this in my business consulting business, but I'm giving all these wonderful freebies for you. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. If you have any comments, drop them, unmute yourself and ask a question. But otherwise, this is my hiring tip for business owners and managers who are looking for how to classify their employees in a world where the intellect of your staff is going to be critical. So it is 7:50 now. We've done 50 minutes of the 1 hour that we promised you. I have taken you through a live business discussion with Mr. Kofi Doche, Stephen Kofi Doche, and he's told us about his yogurt business that he started after school with his mother and his friend and the friend's mother, and how the business grew. He told us about how he got his first customer. And then he also told us some of the operational challenges that they had. He then also told us some of the operational successes that they had and some of the customer service things that they did that made them stand out. For example, making sure that the quality of the product is regulated by providing a fridge. This is something that Coca-Cola does. You see this where Coca-Cola gives fridges. It's not just for advertisement. It's because Coke has to come serve chilled. It's chilled and it's oh. So that's why Coke provides those fridges, so you can have that experience. The Coke has to be sweating when it comes out of the fridge. That's the experience they want you to have. And so then he took us through some of the advice that he would give himself if he was going to do this again. And his advice was that have your eye on the price. Where you're going, the prize, sorry, have your eye on the prize, where you're going, and don't give up. One thing he did mention several times in his conversation was mentorship, that he didn't have anybody to guide him in terms of the business, right? So he had support from his mother in terms of support. Everybody needs support, but in terms of the business, there was no vision, right? So if the vision maybe was we want to become the number one distributor of yogurt in the central region, or the number one distributor of yogurt in Accra, then they're working towards that, and it wouldn't have been easy for them to drop the ball. And then now, after that, I gave you some tidbits on HR and hiring. If you are somebody who wants to go into an interview, it would be very good for you to categorize yourself. You know yourself, categorize yourself, whether you're a lion, you're a bear, you're a cheetah, or you are a fox. Because saying something like that in an interview, especially if you're interviewing for an advanced business, would be something that the HR manager would pick up and say, no, this person knows themselves. I know where to use them very, very well. It could be also something you can put in your resume and explain why you think you're a lion in terms of your personality. It would be amazing, amazing. So it's now 7:51, and I am sorry that I have to end this call because in as much as I want to wait for Mr. Cyprian, I understand when a client meeting runs over, you cannot tell the client to go away. That's where your money's coming from. And so I would have to end this call, and we will reschedule Mr. Cyprian. I promise you we'll get Ed to come in and give his final tidbits, because he must tell us those things that I saw. The juice in there was juicing, if you know what I mean. The juice was juicing. So if I have no questions from you and we have no comments, I'm gonna give us 1 minute. Anybody who wants to make a comment, just raise your hand and I'll give you the floor. But otherwise, if we do not get those comments and those questions, I will respectfully respect your time and ask that we reschedule Mr. Cyprian. And I hope that this session has been useful to you and you take the tidbits that you heard from today and apply to your lives. So 1 minute starting from now. Yep, I'm gonna keep smiling. You know we are streaming live on Facebook. Okay. Oh, Lovetta said something. Thank you, Lovetta. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Lovetta said, I love today's session. Thank you for the real life business lessons, Kofi. Oh, see, Kofi, thank you so much for being our spokesperson our experts for today. We appreciate you. We heart you. In fact, we love you very, very much. Richmond is laughing. Richmond, I'll block you. Block you. Okay, so the 1 minute is up. Thank you, Lovetta. Thank you, Richmond. All those who engaged today, Jedediah, thank you so much for that. There's always we post our videos on our Instagram and our Facebook, so you can always recap and recatch there if you wanted to catch any of the things I said about the HR thing, or listen to Kofi's session again to learn about the real life business lessons that he gave us. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me in your ears and in front of your screens tonight. It has been PBI. I had the session earlier with my boss Kofi, and on behalf of Kofi and the whole PBI team, it's a whole team. We say thank you so much for your time tonight. Have a fantastic evening, and watch out on our Instagram. We will post the next date that we get with Mr. Cyprian. God bless you and have a good night. Bye, everyone.